Imagine a world where electric cars are as affordable as their gas-guzzling counterparts. A world where charging your vehicle takes no longer than filling up at the pump. This isn't some far-off fantasy, it's happening right now. But here's the twist. The country leading this electric revolution isn't the United States, it's China. And the story of how they got there is one of ambition, innovation, and controversy that's reshaping the global automotive industry. In 2024, America's automotive giant Ford Motors made a surprising announcement. They were cutting back production on their F-150 Lightning, the electric version of America's best-selling pickup truck. Why? Because sales had plummeted. The culprit? A price tag that was simply too high for most consumers. This isn't just Ford's problem. The average price of a new electric vehicle in the US hovers around $55,000, putting them out of reach for many Americans. But across the Pacific, it's a different story. China has managed to bring sleek, affordable electric cars to market in just a few short years. Today we're going to unravel the mystery of how China became the world leader in electric vehicles and what it means for the future of transportation. Let's rewind the clock about 20 years. China was on track to become the world's largest importer of oil, and its cities were choking on air pollution. The government saw an opportunity. By electrifying its car fleet, China could reduce its dependence on foreign oil and clear the air in its urban centers. What happened next was nothing short of an industrial revolution. The Chinese government poured a staggering $29 billion into the electric vehicle industry between 2009 and 2022, a monumental investment that set the stage for a transformative shift in the automotive sector. This came in the form of subsidies, research spending, and tax breaks, creating a robust ecosystem that encouraged innovation and growth. But it wasn't just about throwing money at the problem, it was about strategic foresight and planning. Chinese officials recognized a crucial fact. They were never going to beat the West at traditional combustion engine technology, a field where Western companies had decades of experience and dominance. So instead of playing catch-up, they decided to leapfrog straight to the future electric vehicles, a sector with untapped potential and fewer established players. Local governments got in on the action too, giving Chinese companies an instant market by contracting them to electrify bus and taxi fleets, ensuring a steady demand for electric vehicles. In the city of Shenzhen, a company called BYD electrified 16,000 buses before it became the world's largest EV company, showcasing the potential of large-scale electrification. To get consumers on board, the government offered generous subsidies and perks, making electric vehicles an attractive option for the average consumer. Electric vehicle owners in China enjoyed discounts on charging, favorable parking, and even special colored license plates that broadcast their eco-friendly status to the world, adding a social incentive to the economic benefits. But there was still a problem that needed addressing. In the early days, EV batteries weren't very good, often lacking the range and reliability needed for widespread adoption. So the Chinese government introduced stricter standards, pushing companies to innovate and improve their battery technology. They said, "You'll only qualify for these credits if your battery density reaches this level," setting a high bar for performance. It was a masterstroke of policy that drove rapid technological advancement, ensuring that Chinese EVs could compete on a global scale. When foreign car companies like GM and Tesla wanted a piece of China's booming EV market, the government had another trick up its sleeve to maintain its competitive edge. They made a rule that foreign cars must use Chinese-made batteries to qualify for consumer subsidies, ensuring that the benefits of the EV boom stayed within the country. This protected and further boosted China's domestic battery industry, fostering a homegrown supply chain that could support the growing demand. The results speak for themselves, with the Chinese EV market experiencing unprecedented growth. In 2024, over half of all new car sales in China were electric, a remarkable achievement that underscores the success of these policies. It's a tipping point that signals EVs have moved from niche to mainstream in the world's largest car market, setting a precedent for other nations to follow. They've cornered the market on the most critical component, the battery, which is the heart of modern electric vehicles. Today, roughly 40% of an electric vehicle's cost is in its battery, making it the single most expensive part of the vehicle. And this is where China's strategy gets really interesting and complex. Chinese companies started acquiring ownership stakes in mines around the world, securing the raw materials needed for battery production, such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel. But where China really flexes its muscle is in the steps after mining, particularly in the refining and manufacturing processes. No matter who digs the minerals out of the ground, China refines the vast majority of them, controlling a critical step in the supply chain. This is the dirty work, grinding down raw materials and extracting the desired minerals, a process that requires significant expertise and infrastructure. It's a process that's both technologically complex and environmentally challenging, which is why you don't see much refining happening in developed countries, where environmental regulations are stricter. After refining, Chinese plants manufacture the vast majority of the 4 key components that make up an EV battery: the cathode, the anode, the electrolyte, and the separator, each playing a crucial role in battery performance. They then assemble these components into the final battery cell, ready to be installed in electric vehicles. How did China become so dominant in battery manufacturing? It's a combination of strategic investments and long-term planning. Part of it goes back to their expertise in producing batteries for electronics, which laid the groundwork for their current dominance. Companies like BYD started making batteries for gadgets in the 1990s, before pivoting to electric vehicles, leveraging their experience in scaling up production. China's control of the battery supply chain is so complete that when the US government tried to reduce dependence on Chinese components, they hit a wall, facing significant challenges. After passing a rule saying no more than half of EV batteries components or minerals could be Chinese-sourced to qualify for tax credits, only an estimated 20% of EV models on the market qualified, highlighting the extent of China's dominance. But China isn't just mass-producing batteries, they're innovating too. In the past 2 years, Chinese companies have made a major breakthrough. They've figured out how to avoid using the 2 most expensive battery minerals, nickel and cobalt. They've done this by improving a technology called lithium iron phosphate, or LFP. In 2023, the Chinese company KTL announced an LFP battery that could power a car for 370 miles on just a 10-minute charge. Another Chinese company, BYD, developed their own version called the Blade battery, which can pack more power into the same space, increasing a car's range. These innovations are spreading beyond China's borders. KTL has built battery plants in Germany and has plans for Hungary. And remember Ford's struggles with the F-150 Lightning? They've found a solution. In Michigan, they're building the first US plant to produce these advanced LFP batteries using technology from cattle. Now you might be wondering, how did the US fall so far behind? The truth is that the US was never a major player in lithium-ion battery manufacturing. Historically, it was Japan and Korea who led the way. China has now surpassed them both. This raises some tough questions. Are China's government subsidies unfair competition? Are there human rights and environmental concerns in China's battery supply chain? The US is trying to catch up, with Bloomberg estimating it would cost $82 billion for the US to meet its own domestic battery demand by 2030. So where does this leave us? What are the next steps we need to take? The world desperately needs to transition to electric vehicles to combat climate change and reduce our carbon footprint. But right now, US automakers are struggling to offer affordable options without relying on Chinese technology. We're at a crossroads facing significant challenges. Do we prioritize keeping our distance from China, or do we embrace the global nature of the EV revolution to achieve our climate goals? This is a critical decision point. There's no easy answer, but one thing is certain. The future of transportation is being written right now, and China is holding the pen. Their advancements are undeniable. As consumers, as citizens, and as inhabitants of this planet, we all have a stake in how this story unfolds. Our choices matter. The electric vehicle isn't just about getting from point A to point B, it's about the future of energy, the global balance of power, and the fate of our environment. It's a symbol of progress. So the next time you see an electric car on the road, remember, you're not just looking at a vehicle. You're witnessing a revolution. You're looking at a piece of the puzzle that will determine the course of the 21st century. It's a glimpse into our collective future. And as we've learned today, that puzzle is far more complex and far more fascinating than most of us ever imagined. The journey ahead is both challenging and exciting. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the world of electric vehicles. If you found this video interesting, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth looks at the technologies and policies shaping our world. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about China's domination of the EV market? Should we be concerned, or is this the push we need to accelerate the transition to cleaner transportation? See you in the next video.